I came from a large family here in Marquette. My mother is originally from Keweenaw Bay. My father is from Bad River in Odena, Wisconsin. They met when my father was working different jobs when he was a young kid. And he used to tell me stories about Model A's that he had.
This is our 4th year, Glen. We planted about 2,000 pounds. We were with each other last year at Lockview Desert. Tom was, and it's an honor to have you. In the Marquette County community, everybody knows Glen. He's often spoke to many different groups about his people, about his own story.
When he gave me that name, he knew what I did in life. That is go and teach. I went and I gave lectures and talks. So that's how I got the name Tamamik Nadeshnikos, which is my name in the Tamamik. I also said Ojibwe Nada. I am Ojibwe Indian. I can say Let's Clear Chippewa also. And I said Harvey Nadunjawa, which means I live over in Harvey. That's where I live, in Harvey, Nadunjawa. And I said Anishina is how are all you.
In July 2007, KBIC Elder Glen Bressette of Harvey, Michigan, explained how he overcame some of the same obstacles that the at-risk teens are currently facing. Bressette described racism in Marquette when he was young, when his mother told all her children to lie about their American Indian heritage. Bressette said he was called a dirty Indian and an old drunken Indian.
The thing was, when I grew up in Marquette, there was only about 3 Indian families in Marquette back in the early 40s, 50s. And there was a lot of prejudice in Marquette. And I grew up with that prejudice. I was a dirty Indian. I was a stinking Indian. Just an old drunken Indian. I was just a dumb Indian. You know? And that's what I grew up in Marquette. A lot of prejudice. So I grew up with a lot of hate. Hating everybody who wasn't Native American. I hated it. And drinking helped me cope with that, but it caused other problems because of it. But my parents, to protect us, I look at it now, they say they didn't say we were Native Americans. They never taught us the language, never taught us the culture or heritage. But they taught us, they said we were Canadian French. So I went around talking to everybody, who are you? Oh, I'm Canadian French. And that kind of satisfied myself and the other non-natives who looked at me or looked down on me. And so that helped me survive a little bit. I went to a powwow, I would talk to the elders. The elders are people that we honor and respect.
Bressette said when he was a teen, police officers shot at him as he tried to steal gasoline, and he described how he became an alcoholic, trying to numb the pain from racism.
Marines, I got in fights with a lot of Marines, and because we go to Yale, get drunk, and nothing else to do. Then I got ordered for Westpac. When I got ordered for Westpac, which is Vietnam, I didn't know what was going to happen when I got there, but ended up in Vietnam as a machine gunner on a helicopter in Vietnam. The thing was, I was still drinking at the time. I still had an alcohol problem. Got to Vietnam, I feared I was going to die there anyway, so I just kept drinking while I was there. There was drugs over there, a lot of drugs over there, but I never used it for some reason. But we had access to a lot of drugs when we were in Vietnam, but I usually drank because I was a juicer, as they call us. They had juicers and heads over there. Then you had segregation. The Mexicans ran together, the Indians ran together, the whites ran together, and the blacks all ran together. So you had these groups of different individual people in a war situation where juicers and heads, and then they were split up into their minorities. A lot of fights developed between the different groups all over there.
As Bressette talked to the teens, they witnessed something truly remarkable. It began as a rumble in the distance, then the helicopter became louder. In front of the teens, Bressette suffered a flashback to Vietnam, where he was a Marine gunner on a helicopter.
Being a machine gunner, it added $60 more in my pocket. I got shot down 3 different times while I was there. But like I said, it wasn't my turn to die, the way I looked at it. I joined many organizations. I got active with the Vietnam Veterans of America. I got active with the Marine Corps League. Got active with the Disabled American Veterans and American Legion. And after that, I started learning about helicopters. I see those things right away. I get flashbacks to Vietnam when I hear a helicopter, even if it's not the kind I flew on. Just the sound of a helicopter flashed me right back there. Makes me think of different things. But I made it through Vietnam, come back to the United States, and there was nothing for me. I drew unemployment for 52 weeks, which I was lucky to do because they gave me an extension. When I come back from Vietnam, I was a little more crazier than I was before I even went. War does something to individual people, and it's hard to explain. You heard of post-traumatic stress disorder? That's what they said I have, post-traumatic stress disorder. So being a combat veteran, and what I've seen over there and what I did over there was not very nice. So I stayed drunk. Married the first girl I met. I got her pregnant and had a little boy. We lasted maybe 7 months. We went to court. I got custody of my son, which was surprising. Now here's a little boy growing up with a dad suffering from post-traumatic stress and alcoholic. This boy, I don't know if any of you kids were here last year, but my son was here last year and gave a little talk, I guess. My grandson was part of the group. But anyway, I did go back to school. I remember my dad telling me that if you want a good job, get a good education. And getting a good education, because my dad, like I said, he worked construction, which was hard labor. He worked for the city of Marquette, wasn't too bad, but he did still have to operate heavy equipment and whatnot. Worked as a lumberjack for years and years, and then picking pine cones, picking potatoes to supplement family as we grew up. But anyway, to get back to the education part, is I had to go to school. I went back to night school. It took me 6 months to get my high school diploma to Marquette Senior High. Once I got my education, I went to Northern Michigan University to the University Skills Center. A month before I graduated from the Skills Center, I got hired at the heating plant on campus. Now, while I was at campus, I was still suffering from post-traumatic stress, still suffering from alcoholism. I would bring girls over at the university. I would play pool. I wouldn't show up for work. I was missing work. Come close to getting fired 3 or 4 times because of alcohol. And it wasn't too good. It was a good job, but trying to maintain a lifestyle, being divorced, custody of a kid, and maintain a job, just wasn't a good thing for me. So as my kid was growing up, he grew up the same way as I was doing. He was turning to alcohol and drugs, but he was doing marijuana and stuff. I sent him to a treatment center at Market General. Then I sent him to another treatment center because he had a problem. He had a bad alcohol problem. Then I sent him to Aspen, Wisconsin. And I sent him there. Well, I had to go there for a week. And while I was there for the week, well, he was in treatment for, I think, 6 weeks to 2 months. I spent the weekend there. While I was there, the parents got to play out the alcohol part. And I got to play the alcoholic. When I played the alcoholic up there that weekend, I found out that here's me trying to help my son with an alcohol problem, and I'm the one who is an alcoholic. How can I help him when I can't even help myself? So what I did is I come back and I went to treatment here in Marquette, sobered up. After I sobered up, I found out there's other things in the world besides alcohol and drugs. And that was doing things for the people. And I was destined to do that because I looked at the different times when I was young, got in trouble with the city cops, get shot at. I survived Vietnam. I was meant to do something else in life. And that was a reflection on me sobered up in life.
Manoomin Project youths have won the hearts of all involved, including financial supporters, volunteers, and the organizers. Magnuson said the Earth Keepers lift and honor the members of the Keweenaw Bay Indian Community who have been with us on every one of our initiatives. I'm Greg Peterson, and you're watching Earth Keeper TV.